So it's a rainy day here in Bushwick, and I'm at the studio just finishing up a video project. Whoever Audi that is about to get wrecked. And the video project I was working on today was about a film I'm going to be shooting next fall, and it got me actually thinking while I was sitting here doing camera for all the interviews with the actors and the producer, what are some of my favorite movies that revolve around photography? Now, I'm not talking about documentary movies. There are a bunch of beautiful documentary movies out there about photographers like Gary Windward that I watched recently about street photography. I'm talking about major motion pictures that have a basis around photography, and I thought of about 4 that are my favorite by far that I wanted to go over today, talk about, recommend you watch, and then get back to me about it with a 30-page essay. No, but I would love to know in the comments everyone's thoughts on these 4 movies I picked. So the first one we're going to talk about is 1 Hour Photo.
I've been doing POS mini lab work for over 20 years now. I consider it an important job.
Now, 1 Hour Photo is one of my favorite for a couple of reasons. One, it has the incredibly missed, one of my favorite actors of all times, Robin Williams, in it as a non-comedic role, which is new and interesting for him. Basically, we know Robin Williams from Mrs. Doubtfire, Aladdin, all comedic roles, but this is a serious role. Not only is it a serious role, but Robin Williams is actually the villain in this movie. He's actually a bad guy. So let's rewind. The basis of the movie is about 1 Hour Photo. Back in the day when I was young and before most people were born in this world, your film photography could be taken to a place to get 1 hour developed and prints from. Places like CVS, Walmart, and so on. This is basically about a technician that works there. He's a 1 hour photo technician. He develops and he scans and he prints photos. And he happens to become obsessed with this one woman that he sees very often bringing in photos. And she actually, funny enough, shoots on a Leica camera. It's, I think, a Mini Lux, a 35mm Mini Lux, I forget. But he just becomes obsessed with her and her family, not so much her husband, but her child and her. And he builds this relationship with her and becomes friendly with her. But then he starts to take it too far and starts to stalk her. It even goes so far as he breaks into their house while they're away, and he starts to fantasize about having a life with this family. And it's just really good. It's a really great performance by Robin Williams and the other supporting actors. Unfortunately, I don't know their names. And it's just really cool to make a film around photography and also about this 1 hour photo photography that doesn't exist really anymore. And I just think it's a really great film to watch. If you like a little bit of suspense and a little bit of unnervingness, but something around photography, this is my first recommendation. The second film we're going to talk about, which is one of my favorite, it got me into wanting to travel the world and shoot photography both at the same time, and also helped me fall in love with photography, film photography, journalistic photography, travel photography, is The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Now, this is a great photography movie. It has everything there. It has travel, it has 35mm film, it has Life magazine that used to be one of the best magazines out there for journalistic and travel photography. The movie basically follows the secret life of Walter Mitty. So Ben Stiller plays Walter Mitty, and Walter Mitty has this crazy, outlandish imagination and imagines himself in all of these fun, unique scenarios, one involving a woman he's attracted to, and then another about being a travel photographer. And the basis, the fundamental core of the movie is about getting the last slide from this world-famous travel and wildlife photographer. I forget his name, but it's played by Sean Penn. And they're missing this one last slide of his work, and Walter Mitty takes it upon himself to go out and find it, and find the photographer and get that slide. Now the photographer is on assignment in, I think, Tibet or something with mountains and snow. Sorry, I forget. And basically we follow Walter Mitty as he goes on this adventure to find it. He ends up in Iceland, which is one of the main reasons I went to Iceland and did photography there, was because of this movie. And then eventually he comes across Sean Penn working in the field looking for this snow leopard to take a photo. The snow leopard shows up and he doesn't take the photo. And while Walter Mitty asks Sean Penn's character why he didn't take the photo, Sean Penn says one of the best lines about photography is,
"Sometimes I don't. If I like a moment, I mean me, personally, I don't like to have the distraction of the camera."
Basically what he's saying is, sometimes a picture is so perfect and important that he'd rather just remember it than actually capture it, which I think is beautiful and awesome. And I try to do that sometime in my life, though I will usually snap the photo as well. But this is a great movie for someone that loves photography, film photography, and also loves travel and adventure and a little bit of imagination. The third film is a film that came out, I think, in 2017, 2019 with Jason Sudeikis and two other, I'm bad at names for actors, I'm sorry, I just remember the ones I know a lot of, and Jason Sudeikis is in this. Basically, it's a movie called Kodachrome. And basically what the movie is about is Jason Sudeikis is, I think he runs a company or he works at a company where he is a talent scout for music, and he's kind of down on his luck. He's about to get fired, and he promises that he'll bring in this one band to get signed to the label. At the same time, he finds out that his not estranged, but his father that he doesn't really like, who's a very, very, very famous film photographer, is dying. So he goes to visit him, cursing, and anger ensues at the dinner table between Jason Sudeikis and his father not being there and all that.
When's my birthday? February 19th.
February 19th.
And then his father reveals that he has one last roll of Kodachrome film that he wants to get developed before they stop completely developing Kodachrome. And it's at this one place, I think in the Midwest, I don't remember the town. And basically he wants to get it developed because it's his last piece of work. And it's the last place and last time they're ever gonna, they don't develop Kodachrome anymore in general. And this was gonna be the last roll. So they travel across the country. They, have this bonding moment as they do in these movies. They develop the film, and I don't want to give spoilers away, but the development of the film you see coming from a mile away if you can follow film. But it's touching, and it's just a good movie. There's not a lot of photography elements in it. He is shooting on a Leica. I think it's an M3. And Kodachrome is involved in it, but there are some beautiful photos, and there's some him taking photos, and I love how he just explains, kind of like how I explained, that the camera is a part of him. It's an extension of him, and it's always in his hand. I always have my camera with me, either on my hand or around my neck, a Leica M6, and it's just a really nice, easy, comforting movie. Good performance, beautiful photos, great cameras, great adventure, great storytelling. A recent movie that has come out that I recently watched, Civil War. A second civil war going on, and basically we are following Kristen Stewart's character, who is a war documentary photographer. She shoots a Sony camera with a zoom lens and then a 35mm, and she is documenting all of this civil war and civil unrest that is happening in this country, because she's been shooting civil wars and war photography for a very long time, but then she ends up accidentally, and not because she wants to, accidentally mentoring this young film photographer that wants to be a war photographer. Now this movie, what I really like about it, this young and up and coming war photographer shoots on a Nikon F3, I believe, or F2, and shoots in black and white film, and I love it, because we all have seen those very important, amazing photos from incredibly famous war photographers and war photos. I mean, some of the best photos in journalistic history have come from war and have been shot on black and white, usually Kodak, Tri-X, or T-Max. I shoot on Ilford. I just like the grain structure. But this is a great movie because you get that look of digital, and then you also get that feel and look of film from a younger and older, an experienced and a new person feel. It's a little hard to watch because of what's going on in this country. It feels like it could happen, but it is fiction. But if you look at it from a photography standpoint, it's a great movie to watch because if you love journalistic photography, if you love war photography, this is a perfect movie because you get to see it in a cinematic feel of how these characters run around and shoot and capture these images. So there's tons of great film photographies out there that talk about films out there that talk about photography and have it around it. Jason from Grainy Days just did a video about cameras in movies. This kind of inspired me a little of that, but I hope you enjoy this. Go watch those movies. I know you're gonna like. Please make sure to leave a comment below which one was your favorite, what did I miss? And until I see you in the next one, remember to just shoot. I'll see you then.